What about exponents? Just like if we want to take a power of a number by hand, if we want to take a power of a polynomial, we need to do that by repeated multiplication. Now, wait a minute, you might be thinking, if you've seen this in a previous math class, aren't there these formulas for powers of polynomials? Well, kind of. There are definitely patterns to this process, and there are shortcuts that we can memorize. But for the most part, the shortcuts only apply to powers of binomials, and the sort of large-scale shortcuts get relatively complicated. They are things that you'll see later on, but for now, we're just going to understand any power of a polynomial as repeated multiplication. Once you've learned the shortcuts, you can apply them in situations where they apply, but this will always get you the correct power of your polynomial. So if we want to take 2x minus 3y squared, we can understand that as 2x minus 3y times another 2x minus 3y. Right, second power, so we have 2 copies. Well, now we're multiplying 2 binomials, so we can use the FOIL shortcut. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 3y is negative 6xy. Negative 3y times 2x is also negative 6xy. Negative 3y times negative 3y is plus 9y squared. And notice that the middle terms ended up the same. That's leading us generally in the direction of one of those shortcuts, but we'll get there later. For now, we'll combine those middle terms, and we've got 4x squared minus 12xy plus 9y squared. Okay, so that was a second power. What about a third power? If we want to take, for example, x plus 3 to the third, well, that's just x plus 3 times another x plus 3 times a third x plus 3. This is the third power, so we have 3 copies. And now we're multiplying 3 binomials. How do we do that? Well, we multiply the first two, so we'll take x plus 3 times x plus 3. Using the FOIL shortcut, we get x squared plus x times 3 is 3x, plus 3 times x is 3x, plus 3 times 3 is 9. Or combining the middle terms, x squared plus 6x plus 9. All right, where does that put us? Well, now we need to multiply x squared plus 6x plus 9 times x plus 3. Now we're multiplying something with 3 terms by something with 2 terms. For that, we're going to use our rectangle method. So we'll want a rectangle with 3 columns and 2 rows. I'm going to kind of put this off to the side from where I'm writing. Across the top, we'll have our x squared plus 6x plus 9. And down the side, we'll have our x plus 3. X times x squared is x to the third. X times 6x is 6x squared. X times 9 is 9x. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 6x is 18x. 3 times 9 is 27. So we'll have x to the third, and then 6x squared plus 3x squared is 9x squared. 9x plus 18x is 27x. And then we have the number 27. So x to the third plus 9x squared plus 27x plus 27 is what we get when we take x plus 3 to the third power. Okay, one more. Let's take the second power now of something with 3 terms. If we want to take x squared minus 2x plus 2 and square it, well, that's going to be x squared minus 2x plus 2 times another copy of x squared minus 2x plus 2. We're multiplying now 2 polynomials with 3 terms each. We'll want to use the rectangle method for that, and we'll want 3 columns, 3 rows, because we've got 3 terms in each polynomial. 3 columns, 3 rows. Across the top, we'll have x squared minus 2x plus 2. Down the side, we'll have another x squared minus 2x plus 2. All right, x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times negative 2x is negative 2x to the third. X squared times 2 is 2x squared. X squared times negative 2x is negative 2x to the third. Negative 2x times negative 2x is 4x squared. Negative 2x times positive 2 is negative 4x. Positive 2 times x squared is 2x squared. Positive 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x. Positive 2 times positive 2 is positive 4. So what does that give us? Well, we have one x to the fourth term, just x to the fourth. Negative 2x to the third minus another 2x to the third. That's negative 4x to the third. 2x squared plus 4x squared is 6x squared, plus another 2x squared is positive 8x squared. Negative 4x minus another 4x is negative 8x. And then our only constant is the plus 4. Now, you may have felt like we were doing the same multiplication a bunch of times, and maybe there's a pattern there, and maybe there is. But for now, when we want to take the power of a polynomial, we'll just approach it as repeated multiplication.